you can hear me well. Thanks for joining my presentation. I really appreciate it. So let's start. I'm Miro. I work in Red Hat on testing farm, which fuels basically Fedora CI and some other CI systems. But today I'm presenting actually not about testing farm, and I have a nice, quite full room. So I should present more about something not work-related, I would say. I would like to show you how I'm managing my laptop together with bootable containers, which is a really great technology that came and it makes things a lot more simpler in a certain way. And how I'm adding to it Nix, or I would say I'm spicing it with Nix and Home Manager to get this ideal kind of solution to manage my laptop that I'm really happy about after going through various obstacles in my career and so on. So just a few words about me. I'm a daily Linux user from 2004 when I came to this university. When I started actually Linux, I didn't have internet, so once I came here, I had 100 megabit on the dormitory. It was really crazy times. Just remembering back, I used to go to this school. I'm alumni of this, and I started quite early in Red Hat back in 2007, and so quite a long time there. I'm working on continuous integration for Fedora CI and in general. Like from 2016, from 2025, we are running testing farm and public service, which if you are a Fedora user or a maintainer, you obviously should know. I'm actually from Slovakia, I'm not from Czechia, but I live here now and I stuck here in Czechia, and it's had been a great ride because of Red Hat. And I will try to maybe hold my microphone. Yeah, I speak Hungarian. If you know Hungarian, feel free to catch me and we can talk about this stuff also in Hungarian. So I learned that because I had to when I was young and I'm really happy about it. This is my first presentation and my personal stuff after the years presenting here about work stuff and so on, so I'm really happy. So some disclaimer. I'm a very fast speaker, but today I will be slow because everybody was so quick on all the presentations. I have a lot of content. You need to understand some basic things, but I would like to show you basically the complete setup, how I do it on my laptop and how it looks like at the end. Slow down. And I will tell you that you don't need to be afraid of Nix. Always when somebody reads about Nix, you need to be afraid of it. No, I'm a super newbie in Nix. I use it basically as a user. I contributed with some patches to some configuration, but otherwise it's just another language. Of course, it can be mind-blowing, going into the details and so on, but as a user and what stuff that I will be presenting you today, you can use it fairly easily. Yeah, even Linux veterans get very scared of Nix, so if you are a Nix user, how many Nix users are here? Few, so sorry my brevity, I'm a newbie, take me like that, even though I'm a Linux veteran, I don't use NixOS and I'm using it only for this stuff that I will be presenting to you, so if there will be something a little bit unclear or shallow, so excuse me. We will not have time to dive into all the details and everything, but mostly high-level info. When I talk about operating system, I'm a Fedora user and I will stay as a Fedora user. But this is about how to get Fedora and Nix a little bit closer together, Catch me after the talk if you want to know more. So what I have prepared for you, I will show you, why even would you like to manage your laptop as code, what can be useful for, and so on. It might be obvious. Then we will dive a little bit what are bootable containers with Fedora, how now you can very easily actually build your own version of the operating system with the tools that you know from the containers world, how you can set up really easily CI with it and so on, to manage it reasonably, let the CI do the work for you, and then how you can work with your base system with it. Next up, a few words about the Fedora Toolbox. If you are using these immutable operating systems, you need to have some playground. So I will tell you something about that. I will tell you very briefly something about Nix and Home Manager, why they can be useful to extend what you have on Fedora, and why I use it, why I decided to actually even look at it and so on. And I will show you my project, Nix Toolbox, which makes things very easy, like what I will be presenting here, at least partially, which basically blends these things together. And I will show you how it looks like at the end. Very briefly, the connection here is not really well, and a lot of data can get downloaded. So why even would you like to manage your laptop as code, right? So, and when I mean like laptop as code, like ideally the whole pieces, like including the base system, including all your home environment, including all the packages that you have there. Basically, not have this snowflake kind of system. Like I don't know, like multiple times in my career, I was in a state that I don't know what I have on my computer because I use it. It's like becomes unclean, right? You have there like some tools installed, whatever, like containers here, there, and like it gets crazy. So with this setup, I feel like I have a really solid base system that I use, that I consider secure. I know what is there and so on because I even manage it, and then I have a playground which I can really like just throw away if I need to and so on. So it makes me feel a little bit actually better. So yeah, it brings this consistency. So instead of having like this unique manually configured setup and so on, snowflakes environments, you can get the same environment each time. You can easily reproduce it. So when your laptop dies, you get a laptop refresh, or you get a new laptop, whatever. So like instead of like finding out what I installed there and what not, so you can easily just like replicate it with few commands, I would say, and you get the experience that you are used to day to day. You can actually share that code like between multiple things. So the stuff that I will be using, people use it to manage their environment on Android phones, macOS and Linux, and they manage it like a similar setup. I don't do that, but there are some crazy folks definitely here who do that. And it's possible, like this is nice about the solution. You can safely experiment with stuff, throw away, and it reduces my cognitive load, definitely, that I don't need to remember, and yeah, makes me feel a little bit better. So yeah, it basically makes you work faster with less hassle, I would say. I mentioned what I'm actually managing as code, right? It's the base system itself. Like obviously this is about Fedora and bootable containers, so you have some immutable kind of operating system that you manage that is like ideally like minimal. It contains only the packages that you need really for your work. For example, I installed there inside Chrome and installed there some other stuff. I installed there this crazy driver that I have for this old printer that I have at home, and so on, which just doesn't work anyway. So these small things, some CI certificates that I have for certificates that I have for work. Like some system services I like to run on my system, setting time zone and maybe messing around with kernel parameters. Flatpaks. Like even like Flatpaks can be now like you can put them somewhere in the file and the system just like pre-installs it for you. You get an even notification that it's installed. So you can also manage that, like which Flatpaks by default you use. It might be not needed, but yeah, like basically everything, right? And the main thing, like the user environment, right? The stuff where I daily do my development work. I'm a Python developer. I'm actually a full stack developer now because of the testing farm service. So we are like doing from developing, testing, SR, like DevOps work, and also SRE, so we use a lot of tools. And all those tools, basically, I would like to have prepared in my environment. Like I would like to have ideally a single system where I configure it and it's everything just there. I don't need to go to a random GitHub page and download some binary and then verify the hash and then like use it, put it in my bin, whatever. Like no, I would like to have something that where I configure it as a code and it's like magic. And yeah, I think like I have something like that. So I'm really happy about it. Then the configuration for my tools, right? Git aliases, shell variables that I use because of Python requests, need CA certificates to work with internal services and a lot of other stuff. So all this you can put there. SSH configuration, Git configuration, Tmax configuration, basically configuration for anything, .files. One other crazy thing that I'm super happy about, that I'm able from that Toolbox container to actually also configure some aspects of the host system. If the package which is running on the host can read files from home, then I'm able to, with a little bit hack, there can be some hacks, like I am able to export it to the host system, and this is how I configured from that configuration as code my sway, what is my Windows manager, my Waybar, and my food terminal. So I think that's also nice that even like these parts can be configured there. You could put them in the base system, but like I just like to keep them on that one place because, yeah. Okay, how much time do I have? Because I thought I will be, yeah, let's continue. Yeah, already mentioned, right? So for the base system, I'm using bootable containers. I think like this is the best way to manage your operating system. Like previously, how many are you Fedora Silverblue users? Few of them. Try it out. It needs a little bit mind shift. I'm 4 years, I think, on Fedora Silverblue. Not many, but we need to see more people like using bootable containers. Is really great. Like previously, when you wanted to install additional packages on Fedora Silverblue, you need to use layered packages and so on. But now I can basically write a container file and like I just build it up as I need. I have CI which like creates me the image automatically. I just update it and it's like really like this thing is like awesome. Just try it out and it's. I think you will like the system that it is like rock stable for me. I didn't even have any issues, but I'm using always latest. Yeah. And for this user environment, as I mentioned, I use Fedora Toolbox spiced with Nix and Home Manager. That might sound like simple, but I had to go through some workarounds and so on. So I'm trying to now share it with the community so you don't need to run into the same problems or try out how to do it like this. This way definitely can work. It works for me for a year. Cool. So as I mentioned, bootable containers, try it out. If you are a Fedora user, I think it's the best, like for me at least. I will need a charger. Do we have a charger here or something? Yeah. A second. Because if my laptop dies, that will be bad. Sorry. It's already blinking on me. Is it? It's not here. Yeah, it's blinking. Thank you. That would be funny. Something died. Oh. Restoring. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you. At least I found out before it died. So I need also like something that it would like hammer me, you know, like hey, connect charger. Hey. Slideshow. No, oh no. Cool. Oh, it does something. Slideshow. Sorry, bear with me. Okay, cool. Yeah, so as I said, bootable containers, try it out. Like I believe that for at least I believe that for workstations it will be sometimes the default. It's really the way to go. If you look at what Bazite and others are building on top of it, like it's really awesome. So you basically take a base image that Fedora is like producing, and you add the dependencies there as a container file, as you would build your application containers, but you build up your operating system container. These containers are especially contain the kernel and the init system, right? They are not used to run like Sweet Polymer run normally, but basically we can do that. I do that only for CI to check the contents if they are as they should be or whatever, if you have some CI purposes. But otherwise, they should be converted to a VM or an ISO image and then like put on a target machine like your laptop, right? Or we are using it also to put it on AWS machines and so on, like image mode systems. Yeah, you use the standard container tooling that we are used to, that you should know, and so on. So it's really like easily approachable. I do believe, I wanted to ask the folks if this is true that all Fedora Atomic desktops now have bootc in it. I believe so. No? Not yet, but there are variants. I didn't find them, but the guy knows. Otherwise, like you can use universal blue images, which are like really about bootable containers. So thanks very much. Those are built on top of the images and are bootable by design. They are basically Fedora is upstream of them. I use universal blue myself. Like they have some goodies if you have NVIDIA cards, whatever, AMD. I think they can help you streamline a little bit the process, so you don't need to use don't need to set it up yourself. And it's still like, I still feel like a Fedora guy. Oh. Yeah, if you are building this thing, you can just write a container file yourself. But like it becomes sometimes messy, and then you run into some weird things like /opt installation and other stuff. And the community has sorted this out. So I started with container files, building up my own infrastructure on it using directly the container file builder that Miroslav has, for example, or I even wrote my own. Nowadays I'm using Bluebuild, which is like a Rust wrapper around this thing, and it, instead of writing directly container files, you are writing some recipes, and it can do like everything what I needed. I think it will be majority of the use cases they can cover to build containers. They have a nice GitHub action. You can just clone their template and set up CI and let the building done. It's really like super easy. I can show you how the example of my configuration. I will try to click it. So what do you expect? It's my workstation. I'm using Universal Way Atomic for my. That's what I like. That's the VM, the window manager that I like. I'm installing some packages, additional some Polkit stuff. I needed 1Password working with the what is it? The fingerprint reader. That's my crazy RPM for the crazy old printer that I have. That's the Google Chrome that I like to use. I got stuck with it, and I'm just like hard to go back. These things actually sort out a lot of problems for you because these both like install into /opt, and that's a problem. That's problem solved. You need to solve it with some systemd service files, ideally to create directly the bind mounts. I'm sorry if I'm not correct, I said it on the beginning, but this sorts it out for you, so they have some systemd files. It is like magic, you don't need to care about this. You know that these packages have problems with the OPT. You just fix them, RPM Fusion, and I'm adding some additional files there, which are in the different directory. This copies some files into the image, this installs some fonts. This does some like CR certificate magic that I need for my work. This was a bug I was hitting, I'm not sure if it's still relevant, I might need to remove it. I had some problems with sound. So systemd times syncd to have like nothing special. Like you could write it in container file, but that OPT thing would be a problem. Okay. So this is an input that the Bluebuild takes and generates container file from it. Like directly if you use their GitHub action, Bluebuild will run in the CI. I generate it myself, so you can generate a container file from it. I generate it via pre-commit, so when I run pre-commit on commit to main, it generates the container file for me. And I built it myself because I had to inject some of my stuff. Like I didn't want to use GitHub Actions. I'm using testing farm, and you can do with testing farm everything what you have in GitHub Actions. So I use testing farm just because, like because it's our tool. So going to the extreme with it. Just let me show you the container file. The container file will look a little bit crazy. They are basically mount binding some modules to it, and so on. Very slow internet. At least I have my. Yeah, so this file is generated via Bluebuild, and I actually built it then in testing farm and put it onto GHCRIO repository. Like nothing interesting. They have some modules, as you can see. They have some scripts. They have some additional containers which bundle scripts which do the magic, installing additional applications and the stuff that I mentioned, and so on. Oh, nothing really hardly understandable, I would say. Let me jump back to the presentation. Cool. Okay, Fedora Toolbox, why would you even need that? Like, when you have this immutable system, like, well, nice, but now I need to install Python 3.9. Well, yeah. You cannot easily, or you can put it in the container file, but then your system gets quite bloated, right? You don't want to develop. When you are using Silverblue, this is the first mind shift that you need to take, that you will not work on the base system. You will work in a container that is mutable, that you install your tools into, and whatever you can manage it also as a container file, right? So when I spin up here a terminal on this computer, it directly runs me shell in that container. That's the shit. I think like GNOME does it for you now automatically, right? So this is the first thing you need to do. You are working, most of the time, I'm working in the container. I don't even know about it because Toolbox does such a great job sharing everything, what is needed. Sometimes you don't even know, right? And there are certain cases where you need to know. When, for example, you need to, for example, run podman. Like, podman in podman doesn't sound so well. So there is a command which you can execute like a wrapper, and you can delegate some or run some commands on the host, right? So when I run podman in my in a toolbox container, I run podman on my host, right next to it, basically podman. Next to that toolbox container, I run podman. Is that understandable? Like it's a very usual workflow. I use it also for systemctl, then when I need to use systemctl and the other tools that I need from, I need to speed up. Thank you. I thought that I have enough time. So yeah, Fedora Toolbox, the thing you will need if you go to image mode-based systems. Yeah, this is the thing that I was explaining, trying to like draw it. I'm not a good drawer. Let's talk about Nix, and this will be like very high-level thing. So Nix is a package manager by itself, functional language. Don't get scared. Like you can, like how I got to it is that I wanted to set up a reproducible setup for my infrastructure repository for testing farm, and like Nix can do that, like creating reproducible development environments which work on Mac, on Fedora, on wherever, because it's reproducible nicely. So I wanted to use it, but I found that it's hard to install, so I cannot force it to my colleagues that, hey, try out Nix, and that's why I created this project, so maybe now I can force it to them, because it will be now easier to get Nix on Fedora, Silverblue, or plain Fedora, right? So that's why I started this. Yeah, it's declarative, like, it's like it's a declarative language. It doesn't look so bad, and yeah, you can do a lot of crazy stuff in it, but for me, it's basically just a DSL language where I say to it what should be configured and how, and Nix is like the building block, then there is Nixos, like complete operating system, but I'm a Fedora user, so not interested, and yeah, it's used for, it can be used also for CI/CD and so on, so you can have these reproducible nice things. That was the shortest Nix intro ever. Home Manager is built on top of Nix, and it can manage this home configuration for your tools. Basically, it's community maintained. There is basically a lot of already like tools that you use. This thing is able to generate configurations for, right? So Tmux, SSH, Bash, name it, like a lot of them, right? Or you can write a new module basically, which I hope that they call it modules, to Home Manager, which basically can then create a configuration file for you. So you don't need to write some more, it generates the configuration file for you. If you want complete control, it can be solved, of course, but like it usually works for me. The whole Neo Vim, I configure it via Nix stuff, and it's like great. Like they sorted out a lot of things I don't need to write, so much things that it's stable because of the nature of Nix. Yeah, and that's my project. Try it out. Nix Toolbox, it's like a simplest way to run Nix and Home Manager on your Fedora Silverblue laptop. One thing I mentioned, why I use it, like I mentioned it a little bit. Today I wanted to convert AskCinema, like this, terminal recording to GIF. I found out that the HGG tool is not packaged in Fedora, so I was like, okay, so it's a Rust-based package, okay, but it's packaged in Nix because Nix has 120,000 packages. So I install it from there. I use it basically as an extension. If something is not in Fedora, I install it from here instead of downloading it or compiling or running cargo myself, right? So I can just add these more packages as like it from Nix, and I'm safe. I have it there. Usually I use a lot of stuff from Fedora, of course. Myself, like the Python. I had issues with Python stack and so on, but I think that's really great. Yeah, I manage the development environments. With this, you can easily like do the development environment, and yeah, you can manage your whole home. This does some magic that you don't need to care about. When Nix is installed, it's installed on enter to the toolbox container. So you create it, and on enter, it installs Nix into it. Does some magic to like bring it up or bring up all the stuff that you have installed via Nix, like via the profile. /Nix is mind-bounded to local shared Nix, so the Nix I didn't mention has a big store, and it needs to be on /Nix, so it's able to bind mount. I am able to bind mount it to my home directory this way, so it's nicely like there where it should be on my host system. And when I need to install Home Manager, I just clone that repository there, and the magic happens. This is actually how the installation looks like, but you can try it out, and you don't need to look at it. So, Fedora Atomic Desktop, immutable, put there everything you need. I didn't mention that the Blue build can install those Flatpaks, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, so it can install default Flatpaks to it. Put there everything you need on the base system, right? And in Nix Toolbox, you can do everything else, or you can also like extend the Nix Toolbox container with your run commands to extend it as a normal Fedora container if you need to, right? This specialty is special. I'm not sure who was doing this crazy thing. It works, I guess, because Nix and Fedora are all bleeding edge. So I didn't run into capability problems that I'm actually generating some configuration for my SWay here. I guess it's stable. You might run to it, but yeah, it might happen. And yeah, I think this is quite special that I generate basically some configuration for the host system from stuff. I do some link magic there. I will show you. We have 5 minutes. This is how I install my laptops nowadays, like 5 steps. Install Atomic SWay, some version, switch to my version that I have created, that is managed on GitHub automatically. I clone my home manager configuration to the correct place. I run Toolbox, I enter it, and poof, it's there. It's there what I need, right? And I don't need to care about all the other stuff. So yeah, I'm happy. 1 year, I'm happy about it. Now I finally decided to do a presentation about it. And you can check my home configuration here. We can go through it as we have still 5 minutes time, but I'm ready for questions until then. Click it. I'm done, but I'm taking questions and I will show you something. Yeah, Martin, go ahead. Oh.
Yeah, so you are running.
Wait a second. Did I get this right? You run even SWay out of the toolbox. So like, how do you start your initial session? You log in at the VT and then start Toolbox and then SWay?
The SWay is installed on the base system.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Because I just shared the configuration from Toolbox that Nix has generated to SWay, because it's like all the tools which can take configuration from your home directory, which is shared between the Toolbox and the stuff. I'm not sure you mentioned it's very important. The Toolbox basically shares your home environment into between the host and the Toolbox. Right, so if you can generate some files to tools which are on the host system and take configuration for that, you can do some magic and it works.
Yeah, I get it now. Okay, thanks.
Sure. That magic is happening here. Like Home Manager has these hooks, and in certain points, as Home Manager is crunching your stuff and generating the configuration, you can basically do a little bit of magic. It's copy-pastable. I want to make a module out of it, but I didn't have time. So I'm glad that I prepared the slides. Here, these things is Nix generated for me, and I'm sharing it with the host system. You cannot just have it available because it's linked to the Nix store, so it's not visible outside. Without this hack, it's not visible outside on the host system because there are links into the container and different paths and so on, right? So that's why it's needed. I also generate some Firefox configuration, but this is only for some, what's my preference of the default search engine and some other stuff. Yeah.
I was wondering whether have you been using Nixpkgs?
Nixpkgs?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm only Flakes. I don't even care about the old world.
Oh yeah,
I'm just Nixpkgs, and I don't want to be in the discussion. Thinking about it, this is only Flakes. This uses only Flakes, and Home Manager via Flakes is copied Flakes. If you don't know what is Flakes, you don't need to. It's a modern way of
How does that compare
not approved way of
to Fedora Toolbox? Because I'm not really knowledgeable in the Fedora space, so I don't know exactly what does Fedora Toolbox.
It's just the Fedora Toolbox where I reasonably install Nix into.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you.
We can talk about after the talk.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, no, it's very high level and so on, but yeah, it's really beautiful. Just catch me, I can show you. Basically, this configuration should be copy-pastable to you. You can just replace. You can basically set up what I have. Plus minus, right? So this I think doesn't have any. All the secrets I inject via 1Password, so there are there are some wrappers around 1Password. One thing that I didn't mention or I mentioned these host Flatpak spawn host commands that I use to run something on the host that you can do easily via a little bit packaging of Nix. Was there a question? Yeah, go ahead. I'm just. Saving time, I thought I will be quicker.
I have a question about your new installation. As you mentioned that this is the good for the switch to new laptop. How do you deal it with SSH keys?
With what?
SSH keys.
SSH keys.
For example, I have several SSH keys for the access to the repos and.
I have it in 1Password. It's paid.
Okay.
It has a SSH agent. And when I need to log in somewhere, I just it just saves all I have here, like basically all the SSH agent configuration, all my keys are in 1Password, very safely saved. And I have made a good integration with, I have 1Password installed actually from Nix packages. And I have a desktop application here, and 1Password has this sorted out. So I don't need to care much. It needed a little bit like tweaking and so on. It's only my configuration. So it reads basically the agent from 1Password. It's very safe. Like basically the password is running when you have your 1Password running, and I don't need to care about this. Like where should I put it or safely and whatever. It's in 1Password, SSH agent. Like gives me it, and once it's down, you need permissions. I always click it.
I see. I didn't know it.
I can show you. It's really nice.
Okay.
I had this problem before, but
the 1Password is available for the Fedora Linux.
It's also in Flatpak. I had some issues because if you use Flatpak applications, some things can get a little bit weird. Like they have browser and application working together well, but if you have something in Flatpak, it's not working well. So for me, it's mostly working. One thing that is not working is automatic unlocking of the browser extension. But yeah, otherwise it works great on Linux. They have even good support. I was crying there. There are other Nix users crying there, and they made most of the stuff working. So I can show you. It's really nice.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
This is where I put all these scripties that I have that run. Firefox on the host, Bootsy on the host, Buildah on the host, Flatpak itself on the host, Podman on the host, right? So it's just it's not hard to get to. Yeah, some testing farm stuff. This is how I inject the secrets, right? So that should be safe.
May I ask you, do you know a project called DistroBox?
Yes, if you look at my documentation, I'm looking at it, like how to use DistroBox. This is currently only Toolbox. Maybe it will run out of the box on DistroBox, but I didn't even try.
Okay, thank you.
Try it out, provide feedback. It's on GitHub. Yeah. If you like it, I will be glad. Finally, I would have a good project myself, because otherwise it's just testing farm and TMT. Catch me after the talk. Thank you.